I never pictured myself becoming the kind of man who'd hide cameras in his own home. That sort of thing always seemed like a paranoid fantasy, the stuff of toxic relationships and bad movies. But there was a gnawing in my gut I couldn't ignore anymore. Something felt off and had been for a while. First, it was small, subtle changes. Late nights at work that turned into early mornings. Her phone always in her hand, screen tilted away, fingers typing quickly. And when we were in the same room, it felt like she wasn't really there. Her eyes were on me, but her mind, somewhere else entirely. I told myself it was stress, that we were just in a rough patch. Every couple goes through them, right? But even as I tried to talk myself down, the silence between us kept growing. So finally, one night, I did what I swore I'd never do. I installed cameras. Tiny, discreet, tucked in corners I knew she wouldn't notice. The living room, kitchen, hallway, places where nothing should have looked suspicious. I didn't tell anyone, not even my closest friend. Felt dirty, invasive, but I justified it by calling it peace of mind. Deep down, though, I already suspected the truth. The first few days showed nothing unusual. I watched hours of footage, her making dinner, scrolling on her phone, feeding the cat, falling asleep on the couch. It all looked normal. I started to feel ashamed. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe I was just insecure. But then came Thursday night. She said she had to cover a late shift. Kissed me goodbye like always. Her voice calm, her touch casual. I sat on the couch, watching the front door through the feed. Hours passed. I was seconds away from turning off the app and calling it a night, when the door opened. She walked in. But she wasn't alone. A man followed close behind her. Tall, confident. Someone I'd never seen before. But she welcomed him in like he belonged there. Like this wasn't the first time. Her smile was warm, too warm. Her laugh effortless. They moved through our home like it was theirs. Slipping off their shoes, whispering, sharing kisses like it was routine. It wasn't some drunken mistake. It wasn't awkward or hesitant. No guilt, no shame. She looked happy, comfortable. They sat on the couch, the one we picked out together. He touched her like he knew every part of her. She leaned into him like it was the most natural thing in the world. And I sat there watching my life crumble in real time. Even when the footage ended, I didn't move. Played it again and again, looking for something that might soften the blow. Something that could make it a misunderstanding. But there was no room for doubt. That night, I didn't confront her. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just waited. She walked through the door like nothing had happened. Smiling, asking how my day had been. I kissed her cheek, said it was fine. And we sat down for dinner like everything was perfectly intact. But something inside me had died. In the days that followed, I went through the motions. She didn't notice a thing. Or maybe she thought I'd never find out. She laughed, made plans, kissed me goodnight. While I lay beside her, unable to sleep, wondering how she could lie so easily. It wasn't just the cheating that broke me. It was how easily she shifted between her two lives. Like it was nothing. Then one day I came home early. I slipped in quietly and heard her voice before she saw me. Soft, sweet, the same tone she used to save for me. But it wasn't for me anymore. She was on the phone with him, talking about trips they'd take, calling him by pet names, laughing. That was the last straw. Not because it hurt more than the footage, but because I realized she wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. She was planning a future, just not one with me in it. That evening, while she cooked like any other night, I sat at the table, watching her carefully. She smiled at me, humming softly. For a moment, I almost forgot. But then I remembered everything. I unlocked my phone and pressed play. The sound of her voice, her laughter with him, filled the room. Her expression fell away instantly, drained of all color. Her eyes locked on the screen. She didn't blink. When the video ended, she crumbled. Literally. Her legs gave out, and she dropped to the floor, sobbing, begging, saying it was a mistake, that she didn't know what she was doing, that she still loved me, that we could work through it. I stood up, quiet, still. "You're not sorry for what you did," I said. "You're just sorry I saw it." She kept crying. tried grabbing my hand. I pulled away gently. No drama. No shouting. I just told her what I needed to. It's over. Then I turned and walked away. That night I packed a small bag. Just the essentials. I left the rest behind. I didn't need a speech. I didn't need closure from her. I just needed to get away before the version of myself that once loved her dragged me back into the wreckage. I moved into a small apartment. Simple, quiet. Some nights were hard. The silence was heavy. But slowly, I started to feel again. She reached out dozens of times. Long texts, voicemails, emails filled with regret. Promises to change. I didn't respond to any of them. Not out of hatred, but because there was nothing left to say. I forgave her. Not for her sake, but for mine. Carrying that weight wasn't worth it. Letting go wasn't weakness. It was survival. She made her choice the moment she let someone else into our home, into her heart. And I made mine the moment I chose peace over pain. I may never forget what happened. Some wounds leave scars. But I don't look back anymore. I don't wonder why. I don't question my worth. I know now what she did says nothing about who I was. It only revealed who she really is. And sometimes the most powerful thing you'll ever do is walk away. Quietly, completely, and never open that door again.